Hey folks, today is Friday, October 27th, 2017. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino, here to talk about the video game stuff that is going on this week. And it is quite a week. 3 awesome games releasing. They're all actually really good. But we gotta talk about Rockstar Games for a second, and they finally acknowledged the lack of single-player DLC and content for Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but a lot of the Grand Theft Auto community has been pretty jammed up at the fact that Rockstar once promised single-player add-on stuff similar to the Ballad of Gay Tony and the Lost and the Damned for Grand Theft Auto 4, but Grand Theft Auto 5 never really got to see that stuff. And a lot of people are kind of jammed up that it seems like Rockstar is just focusing on Grand Theft Auto Online. But recently, in an interview, one of the heads of development spoke on record about this whole issue. Rockstar's design director Imran Sarwar was speaking with Game Informer when he said that it was essentially neither possible nor necessary because of how Rockstar operates. He said that resources were limited. Despite them being such a big company, they are a small team that works on singular projects, and they were focused around the next... It's crime outside. Jesus. There's Grand Theft Auto going on outside. Basically what he said is the way the timeline worked out, they finished Grand Theft Auto 5 and then they spent a lot of time working on the next-gen PS4 and Xbox and then PC versions of Grand Theft Auto 5. Then they started focusing more on GTA Online at the same time, and then eventually they moved on to Red Dead Redemption 2. So there was almost kind of just no time for it, the way he explains it. Now, Imran Sarwar himself is very interesting because we did a deep dive, like I researched a bunch of stuff for Rockstar, and it seems like he's very much in charge of the GTA Online stuff, so I can see where he's coming from because he's involved with that whole thing. But what is interesting is that he kind of tiptoed around the fact that maybe we will get single-player add-ons for Red Dead Redemption 2. And what is really nice, and I will say, it's a quote we needed here right now, with so many people thinking that like single-player games are starting to die off, he said that Rockstar is still committed to single-player games. It's really what they are into. Now, of course, that is corporate marketing speak, but he reiterated the fact that Rockstar always puts like immersion and storytelling first, so I'd like to see them continue doing that. Hopefully they do. The quote is pretty interesting though. If you want to read about it, I linked it down below as well. But of course, now we have to talk about something very important, very near and dear to our hearts in a lot of ways, the death of NeoGAF. NeoGAF, for those of you that don't know, is a message board that has been kind of historic for many years, not as much recently, but back in the day, a lot of times news would break. People would go on those forums to essentially leak insider information about video games, and it became a hub for that type of stuff, and there was some good community there. But unfortunately, recently it's been embroiled in some controversy with the founder of the site and some sexual assault allegations, and the way that all went down, a lot of people flocked away from the site, and mods have actually gotten together and set up a new site called Reset Era. It's very early, it's very rough, they're taking signups, but apparently they're like filling up constantly, but it's got a lot of cool familiar names from NeoGAF and from that community you might be, aware of.
Reset Era.
Reset Era. That's what it looks like. I don't know. I don't like the name. Sorry. Now, NeoGAF gets a lot of shit, and there was a lot of shit on it, but I browsed it for many years, and a part of me will miss some of that, but I am happy to see, hopefully, a new community kind of rise from the ashes, I don't know, do you guys spend a lot of time on the GAF? Let me know what you think. But something I didn't really think I would talk about, I still don't know how I feel about it. Nintendo took to a Nintendo Direct to announce Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It's part of Nintendo's whole initiative to get their stuff on mobile in different ways, and it's essentially a smaller little mobile Animal Crossing based around designing your own little travel RV in a van and camping, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. People have been able to get their hands on it earlier with Australian accounts. It's dropping in November for the rest of the territories.
Tom Nook fucking sells you shit with real money.
I think that's the biggest problem here is the fact that right now there's so much conversations around loot boxes and microtransactions, and here comes this Animal Crossing game that you put real money into, and it just hurts 10 times more because it's Tom Nook.
Seems pretty in character.
He's such a fucker, yeah.
He's a real motherfucker.
It's very in character for him. But in other news, something that I'm actually kind of happy to see is Microsoft has finally pulled the plug on the Kinect. Rest in peace. A lot of things dying this week. We got NeoGAF, we got the Kinect. Sorry, I don't know. Does anyone care? Does anyone care? Why am I talking about this?
I use my Kinect every day.
You do?
Yep.
I'm sorry. But if you do care, Microsoft has announced that the production line is done, so once stores basically sell out, the thing is gone forever. So if for some reason you do really want one, if you want to be able to talk to your Xbox and have it turn on accidentally sometimes, go run to the store and get one, I guess. I don't know, man, you do you. But another quick little interesting Xbox bit of news is they announced original Xbox backwards compatibility, which means Knights of the Old Republic, Crimson Skies, baby, and a couple other things that are actually pretty good and pretty worth playing, so if you are down with that, you should check it out. I don't know if you've missed it, but every week or so I'm starting this whole Jake Book Club thing where I recommend longer form video game things you should read, because we spend so much time talking about video games here, you might as well be well read on it, right? This week I have to recommend this very interesting dive into the life of a speedrunner explorer guy. This guy is a Super Mario 64 speedrunner who got 120 stars in 99 minutes. And it kind of just goes into his process, his mental state, and just like what it takes, what kind of person you have to be to do stuff like this. It's really interesting. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for recommending that.
No problem.
And also briefly, I don't know if you missed it because I still don't think this game gets enough love, but Hitman is getting a Game of the Year edition with new content. So if you already have the whole Season 1, you are going to have to pay for additional content, which kind of sucks. But it looks like they're adding some interesting things. New modes, new variations on maps, new costumes, stuff like that. But speaking of things being added to games, it looks like Dead by Daylight got Freddy Kruger. Yeah! Happy Halloween, baby! It's actually the Jackie Earl Haley Freddy Kruger. That's kind of lame.
Fucking bullshit.
That's a little bit of a bummer. Now, I still give props to Dead by Daylight for being a smaller game that manages to get all these properties. That's really cool. I still am not the biggest fan of the game, but I respect what they're doing. Oh, also, this just dropped. We were talking about Rockstar. I don't know if you care, but Rockstar just dropped gameplay footage for the new remastered version of LA Noire in 4K, and it actually looks, surprise, pretty good. It looks similar, but I've recently played it again on PC, and this looks much nicer with better textures and stuff. And briefly, I don't know if you guys saw the NPDs, but apparently Destiny 2 is one of the best-selling games of 2017. It topped the charts in just its first month of release, and that's really impressive considering lately the discourse has been about how the game ran out of content. People have already kind of sucked it dry and they want more. But it looks like a lot of people jumped on board initially, and that's good. I'm curious to see how it is long term, but thankfully they did also start to detail some of their December content offerings, so check it out if you're a fan. Oh, and briefly, I did not expect this, but Dragon Ball FighterZ got a release date. It's actually way sooner than I expected, January 26th, 2018. So that's dope. I don't know. I got nothing to add.
Have you played it?
Yeah.
It's real cool.
It's really good. It's really
It
fucking hard.
Beautiful.
It looks amazing. I want to cry whenever I see it. Also, I don't know if you guys have been following our glitch videos. I think the Shadow of War one was really good. I think the Evil Within one, the glitches weren't as funny, but we've been pumping these out, and you guys have been sending us your glitches. Thank you very much. We're actually looking for glitches for Assassin's Creed Origins, which I can confirm there's a lot of them, Super Mario Odyssey, and Wolfenstein. If you got any of those, send them to us, and you'll get featured in a video. In the link in the description, there's 3 separate links to submit. It's like a form. Send us what you got. But now you know what we got to do. Every single week, we do a console giveaway. There's a link below in the description. You click it to sign up. You enter once, then you're entered for good. And then every single week, we randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. And this week's winner is going to be this person right here. Congratulations. Be sure to keep an eye on your inbox and your spam box because Tom's going to be reaching out to you soon to figure out how we can get you your console. I am very tired. It's been a crazy week. I'm also getting married this Saturday if you're watching. That's crazy and weird. But keep in mind, I'm going to be gone like away on a honeymoon, so next week's Friday show is going to be a pre-recorded thing, but we got a couple surprises, so I think you should check it out if you are a fan of this weird show we do every Friday. But let's talk about the stuff that is going on this week. First of all, any of the 3 big games coming out, have you played them yet? Let's talk about them. Not only that, but how do you feel about Animal Crossing Pocket Camp? And how do you feel about Rockstar and the whole single player thing? Do you want to see content expansions for Red Dead 2? Or are you still holding out for Grand Theft Auto 5 expansions that are probably definitely not going to happen? Let's talk about any of this video game stuff down in the comments. I'm going to be down there talking to you guys as much as possible, but you know where to find me, as always, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, at Jake Baldino as well. As always, thank you guys so much for coming around and watching. Because you watch, it lets us do this and do cool things and have fun. So thank you, seriously. And you know, clicking the like button does help us out a ton. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, you should, because we put out stuff like this every day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.